Another original design by that family woodworker guy. I need a new desk lamp. My old one was sort of a cartoonish project made with a broken stick for my son's travel hockey days. We spent tons of time in the Midwest and all across the 401 in Ontario, and he broke a lot of sticks along the way. But it's time for a new design, something made with better wood like walnut, and with a couple of other antique technology surprises baked in. Stick around. Sometimes I'll make a trek to a not-so-local specialty wood store that specializes in urban tree and barnwood rescue. If a city tree actually gets destroyed by a storm or maybe gets taken down by the power company, they'll swoop in to rescue it from the firewood guys and then mill up as many of the good boards as they can for the kiln. Thicker planks like the ones I show in the video, especially the number 2 grade lumber with knots and imperfections in the grain, are just far cheaper to buy, and they still make for some pretty decent finished pieces. You're going to find a few character flaws in the wood that I'm using for this lamp, but that very much mimics my own personality. I am that knotty piece of flawed wood grain with a hardwood head. I wanted a sphere to act as the counterweight to the lamp's boom arm, but a perfect sphere is one of those things that's really hard to do manually on the lathe. You have to get one axis rounded and then keep rotating the ball on the lathe to knock down all the high spots on the other axis. It always starts out looking a bit like an egg, but then you have to rotate it and then hit the high spots and then rotate it again until it looks mostly, well, in this case, like a dark brown softball. There are two smaller curved components that I'll need to mount to the base of the lamp, and I'll need them to be a 1/2 inch thick when finished. After the glue dries on these small planks, I'll have to mark up a nice gradual curve on both and then fabricate those finished pieces. Ultimately, these will sit on both sides of a longer curved boom arm that will then clamp down on that center arm, controlling its height off the tabletop. You can still spot some flaws in the wood grain here too, but I like the imperfections. They add some character, it's all natural, and makes the finished piece of woodworking look completely unique. In order to hide the cord inside the boom arm, I had to route out a half moon channel on both long pieces, except trying to use a curved piece of wood on a router table was a little challenging, even with the wood guides that I had clamped to the top. The inside edges were so jagged that I had to pull out my rounded chisel to clean up my own mess, but this will wind up hiding the core pretty nicely when I put the two pieces back together. Like most of my woodshop projects, I only have a rough idea of what I'd like the finished piece to look like, but not all the shapes or angles are predetermined. Sometimes it helps to hold up the pieces in relation to each other to see if it actually looks good. I'll then adjust lengths or angles until I think it'll work, like making sure there's enough room underneath the curved base pieces for the ball to actually fit underneath. Since I think 15 degrees was the right angle relative to the base, I needed to figure out a way to cleanly cut in a mortise then to accept those pieces at that angle. One of the risks I'd like to avoid, even when using LED bulbs, is the buildup of heat inside the lamp head. So that smaller top box will have some symmetrical vent holes cut in to release any built-up heat. And since this whole lamp design looks a bit like something you see out of the craftsman period of the 20th century, I thought square holes might look best here. With the lamp arms assembled, I needed a way to squeeze the outer base arms against the longer boom arm, and a basic nut and washer solution sort of kills the whole upscale walnut lamp vibe. But I remembered that I had stashed away some old technology goodies in my someday pieces and parts box. How about some IBM Selectric ball typewriter heads? Born in 1961, died in 1986, thanks to business computers. I rescued a few of these in the hopes of using them someday. Hey, guess what day it is? I also needed to cut down some longer threaded connectors so that I could glue them inside those ball heads. Here's some free fireworks at no extra charge. So this desk lamp wound up looking pretty frickin' amazing. But let's take a second and address the thumbnail controversy. I mean, $2,000 for a lamp? Really? Well, if you look out on Etsy and some other specialty craftsman websites, these actual walnut lamps for sale just use basic flat and straight cuts for their pieces and took nowhere near the amount of time that I spent on my lamp. If we look at the project overview, and I charged a reasonable trade rate like $50 an hour, the labor alone is worth more than $1,600. But this is more of an art form to me, and I never really sell my stuff anyway, hence the name of my channel and the website. I think the design looks pretty great, and the addition of those antique typewriter balls works really well too, opening the conversational door when somebody asks, "Hey, what the heck are those things?" To wrap up, thanks very much for watching. We don't ask for donations or charge for membership, so your thumbs up and a subscription to the channel really help us. Take care.